Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Anand and I've just appeared for JAM 2020 and JES 2020 exam, and I've got All India rank 112 in JAM and All India rank 148 in JES. So in this channel I'll be going to cover the electronic syllabus of JAM, and after that I'll cover other topics too. So in this series we'll talk about only electronic syllabus, in which we have several things to study like diode, op-amp, transistor and many more things are there. So we'll cover all the syllabus one by one, and if you want more content like this, then don't forget to subscribe my own channel. For that, what you have to do, you have to open YouTube, and in that search option you have to search PHYZIX and CRAZE, Physics Craze. When you search it, you will get the first thing here. If you open my channel, you will see there are a lot of video I have already covered for EMT and other subjects too. In the playlist you will have the separate playlist of all the videos that I have covered. So don't forget to press the bell icon so that you will get the notification every time I upload the video, and I upload video regularly. So without wasting too much time, let's get started. So we'll start our discussion from very basics of electronics, which are very important. So the first topic is open circuit. Now if in a circuit we have some cut or there are some open ends, so we can say that in between these 2 points the resistance is infinite, and because of that current will be 0. Now using Ohm's law, the potential difference will be IR, but here current is 0 and resistance is infinite. So what we can write, this kind of expression mathematically we say that unknown or indeterminate time. So we can say in open circuit voltage across the shown points will be unknown. But in case of short circuit, what we do, we just take a wire, conducting wire, and we just join that two ends. Practically if we want to do short circuit, so let's consider we have a battery here and we have positive and negative ends. So just take a wire and connect the positive and negative ends, so we can say that it is short circuited. So what is the benefit of short circuit? So when we short circuit a wire, it means it has zero resistance. We just consider that it has zero resistance. It means maximum current can flow through this, minimum resistance we can say. Okay, so the potential difference across these 2 points will be 0, and again according to Ohm's law, if we want to find the current, we'll write I equals to V over R. So V is 0 and resistance is also 0, and 0 by 0 is also indeterminate. So we can say in short circuit current is unknown. So here I have written the same thing. For short circuit case, voltage is 0 but current is unknown, and for open circuit case, current is 0 but voltage is unknown. So we'll move ahead with the Kirchhoff's law. These are very important things that we should repeat at least before starting the syllabus. So we know that there are two laws, current law and voltage law. Now what is meant by current law? Current law says that according to Kirchhoff's current law, the algebraic sum of current across a given node or junction is 0, and we consider that for a fixed time, means at a time, for a given time t equals to t second. So let's consider I have drawn here a diagram, you can see, and let's consider this is a junction point, and I have shown some of the current and their directions. So according to current law, we can say algebraically that sum of all current should be 0. Now we follow here some convention. What convention? If a current is incoming towards the junction, we take that current as negative, and for outgoing current we take that current as positive. So from this diagram we can say, using KCL at node, we can write minus I plus I2 plus I3 minus I4 plus I5 equals to 0. I'm just using this here, and just taking the negative terms on the right hand side, we can write this also. The second law is voltage law. What does the voltage law say? For a closed loop series path, the algebraic sum of all the voltages, now here we are concerning about voltage, around any closed loop, is equals to 0. It means mathematically we can write sum of potential differences for a closed loop. For a closed loop is always 0. Now here I have drawn some diagram. You can see here we can show 3 loops. This is our loop 1. See, this is our loop 2. Loop means a closed circuit, so we can make any, and the third will be this outer one. We can also consider any of the loop according to need of question what we have to find, but here we just have to understand the things. Here we use some convention. Now the convention is, for resistance, in the direction of current, potential difference is positive, otherwise negative. It means if we are moving, it is up to us in the closed circuit which direction we have to choose, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. So here you can see the current is moving in clockwise direction, and I am also choosing clockwise sense. So we can say, according to the sign convention, the potential difference between resistance would be positive. And in 11th or 12th standard you must know that we write positive at the end when current is approaching to the resistance. So here we can write at positive, and here we can write negative. So here a potential difference is created. Here also we can write according to the direction of current, positive, negative, and positive, negative. So this is our sign convention. You don't have to remember this, just put the positive and negative sign according to the direction of current, and consider sense of tracing, either clockwise or anti-clockwise. Here I am just tracing clockwise. So, and for EMF, in the direction of current, potential difference is negative, otherwise positive. It means if we are tracing in the direction of current, so we'll write the potential EMF means the cell, battery, whatever attached in the circuit, we write those negative. Now in this loop 1 we can write minus V. See, minus V plus IR1 plus I1R2, we don't know the current, equals to 0. Just taking the negative term to the right side, we can write V equals to IR1 plus I1R2. So this is very basic. Now we'll move ahead with some convention of power consumption. Now let's consider in the circuit we have some component. Here I have written some voltage source, but you can have different components. So if the current leaves from positive terminal, here in the diagram you can see the current is moving in this direction, so we can say current is leaving from positive direction. So we'll say the power consumed across this component will be negative, and the formula we know that V into I, because there is some potential difference across it, and we know the current. So if the current leaves the component from positive terminal, so we always write the power as negative. But in this second case you will see the direction of current, it is leaving from negative terminal. So this kind of power, while calculating, we'll say that power is positive power or absorbing power. Okay, like in the previous diagram you will see resistance. In resistance we write the sign positive, negative according to the direction of current. So we can say that for a resistance, if you'll see, the current is leaving from negative side, and that's why the power consumed by resistance is positive. It means resistance consumes the power, but negative power means it delivers the power. Okay, like your current source, voltage source, whatever. So these are some sign convention for power consumption. Now the basic thing, series equivalent resistance, parallel equivalent resistance, we all know that this is the formula for more than one resistance connected in series or parallel. Now we'll just move ahead with some example. Here we have two example in which we have to determine the current in the loop. Now in this circuit, if you'll see, in the first one we have two current sources. The first current sources, these are current sources. The first current source produces 2 ampere of current in this direction. The second current source produces 3 ampere of current in this direction. But a circuit should always satisfy Kirchhoff's current and voltage law. For any point of junction, let's consider, I am considering this point. Here what we can say that in this direction 2 ampere current is going outward, and in this direction 3 ampere current is going outward. So for this junction, for this junction, what we can write, outgoing current is positive, we know that. So according to Kirchhoff's current law, we say that whatever current that comes inward at the junction, it goes outward. But in this, if you'll see, both the current is going outward from this junction. It means current law, Kirchhoff's current law, is not satisfied. So in this kind of circuit, we can directly say that this circuit is not possible. This circuit is not possible. We can directly claim this. Now in the second one, if you'll see, if similarly, if I just take a junction here, a point here, and here, if we just zoom it and see, 3 ampere current is going outward and 3 ampere current is going inward. So here we can say that KCL is valid, because whatever current comes in is the current goes out. So we can say that KCL is valid. And so this is the topic that I wanted to explain you, so that you don't do any mistake during exam. Now let's move ahead. We have one rule, voltage division rule, and make sure that we always use voltage division rule for series circuit only. And that rule, as we know that in circuit we have some potential difference across 2 points. Let's consider in this circuit we have some voltage source which is supplying some voltage, and there is current I is flowing in the circuit, and there are 3 resistance R1, R2 and R3. Now we know that the current, when it passes through this resistance, it will create some potential difference across this. So let's consider the potential difference across R1 is V1, across R2 is V2 and across R3 is V3. So according to voltage division rule, we can directly write what is the value of V1. You can also get this relation using KVL and Ohm's law, but we're not gonna do that. We just gonna study the relations, and it is very easy. See, we want to find the potential difference across R1, and we have this source voltage only. What we're gonna do, we're gonna write the voltage source multiply by this R1 divided by R1 plus R2 plus R3. Similarly for V2, we're gonna multiply Vs with R2 and the denominator will be same. For V3, we're gonna multiply Vs with R3 and the denominator will gonna be same. So this is it. And voltage division rule is always applicable only for series circuit. We cannot use this for parallel circuits. Now let us consider some example. Here we have a circuit in which the voltage source is 20 volt, and we have 6, 8, 8 and 10 ohm resistance according to the diagram. And what we have to find, we have to find the voltage across 6 ohm. So here we can write voltage division rule directly, but there is one problem. We have 2 resistance here, but these resistance are in parallel, so we will directly write 1 over Rp is equals to 1 over 8 plus 1 over 8. So we can write Rp as 8 over 2, which is 4. So can we just substitute these 2 resistance with its equivalent resistance? Yes, we can do that. So we'll write here 4 ohm, 6 ohm, 10 ohm, and what is our voltage source? It is 20 volt. Now what we have to calculate, we have to calculate the voltage across 6 ohm. So the current which is flowing in the circuit, we can say this arrangement of resistance is in series, so we can directly write the voltage division rule. Here for finding the potential difference across 6 ohm, we'll write 20 into 6 divide by 6 plus 4 plus 10. So what is our answer? Our answer is 120 divided by 20. It means it will be 6. So what is the potential difference across 6 ohm voltage? It is 6 volts. Similarly, you can also find potential difference across 4 ohm and potential difference across 10 ohm. And just make sure that after finding all the values, the net sum should be 0, because every circuit which is valid should follow KCL and KVL. This is mandatory. So let us move ahead. It is called ladder circuit, in which we have continuous connected resistance up to infinity. Now what we have to calculate? We have to calculate the resistance across AB, the net resistance or equivalent resistance. So in this kind of questions can also come up with a capacitor also in place of resistance. Here we might get capacitors or inductors, but we have to proceed with the same way we're going to do for resistance. So now if we'll see here, for the infinite connections, we can say if I just remove this part of the circuit, if I just remove this, so if I just draw this part of the circuit after removing the first part, we can draw this circuit as this, continuously 8 ohm, 2 ohm, 8 ohm, 2 ohm, and see it is again looking like the question whatever we had initially. We can directly write this all diagram as the resultant will be R. From the diagram, the equivalent resistance between these 2 points was R. So for this remaining part also we can write the resistance across these 2 points should be R. So what we're gonna do, we can directly show that this is our 8 ohm, this is our 2 ohm, and this is our what, point A and B. And for this whole circuit we can directly write this is R, because we have to calculate the equivalent resistance across these 2 points and we have assumed it as R. So we can directly replace this whole circuit with a single value R. So here we have 8 and 2. Now rest is just a simple calculation. These both are in what? Yes, it is in parallel, so we will directly write Rp equals to 2R divided by R plus 2. Now we'll have this diagram in which we have these 2 points A and B, A2 ohm and Rp. So the resistance across these 2 points was R, and now we can say these both resistance are in series, so we can write R equals to 8 plus Rp, and R equals to, what is the value of Rp? It is 2R divided by R plus 2. Now rest is the simple algebraic calculation you can do, and you can find the resultant equivalent resistance across these 2 points. So this kind of questions, which is ladder circuit, is we always proceed this kind of circuit like this. We just replace the whole circuit except the first one with the resultant value and proceed with the simple calculation.